Well, it's another Ford video, which means another Ford recall. And we are actually going to get the Mach-E fixed for its latest recall here. And actually, it's just, once again, a software update that is going to be done mobilely by our local Ford dealership. And they will be here in just a couple of hours to diagnose and basically update the car. So let's talk about the recall that I received recently for our 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E. We'll dive into what the problem is, and then we'll see the repair. But it's usually just a laptop plugged into the car, and then they do a quick software update, and it is done. Let's dive in and take a look. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tech Motoring. Paul here with another product recall here, or a vehicle recall from NHTSA. And I know I made a joke before about it's another Ford video, another recall, but it's actually been pretty true for 2025. We've owned our Mustang Mach-E for over 3.5 years now. We've owned the Ford Lightning you see behind me for about 7 months at this point, 6-7 months at this point, probably by the time I release this video, about 7 months. And I think we've had 4 or 5 recalls this year between both Ford vehicles. So it is the year of the recall for Ford this year. But either way, most of these recalls have been software based. And once this year already, we've had somebody come out for the Lightning to do a software update on one of the modules. That was the brake booster module. I'll have a link to that one in case you're curious. And then this one is actually for the door locks on the Ford Mustang Mach-E. And I'll just read it real quick, and I'll also put some B-roll in here. You can read it on your own. I'll even put the NHTSA logo or the NHTSA link down in the description below. But so we'll read this real quick just so you get an idea. So this affects 2021 to 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E's. And the issue is, on your vehicle, in the event of an unexpected 12-volt battery discharge, the front door electronic latches retain their last lock or unlock status. If the driver or front passenger exits the front doors using the mechanical inside release handles, the doors may remain locked when they are closed, which makes sense. No 12 volt, can't push the button on the door in order to basically open the door anymore, and there's no physical way of opening the doors from the outside. This may result in an unexpected lockout condition for the driver and front passenger without the ability to immediately re-enter the vehicle. Now you're probably wondering, well, why is this a problem? Front passenger and the front driver were able to get out perfectly fine. An occupant who remains inside a locked vehicle and unable to use an inside door release handle, let's say a child for instance, may be unable to be rapidly retrieved by a passenger who has exited the vehicle. This could increase the risk of injury in emergencies or hot weather. So imagine driving someplace, you get out of your car, you shut the car off, you get out, close the doors, you go to grab your kid in the back seat, and then the doors won't release because the 12 volt is dead. And that is the concern here. Now, how do you get into the vehicle without breaking the glass? Okay. That would result in you being able to get back into the car again. And of course, you'd have to jump the 12 volt, and that you may not have time to do all that. So this is why there's that concern, is what do you do there? But anyway, let's wait for them to get here. Like I said, it's still early, so they'll be here in a couple of hours. And the Mach-E will be here too, because my wife currently has it at work. But once everybody gets here, then we'll be able to get the software updated. I'll get some more information, and then we will talk about it, wrap up this video, and then you'll know what this is all about, and then you can go get your car software updated. Now, my assumption is that they will probably have an over-the-air update for this, but because it's a NHTSA recall and it's safety related, I think that that's why they're pushing to have people get the software update done by the local dealerships. Similar to how our Lightning had that brake booster recall, because it's a safety issue with your brakes, it's better to have it done quicker before you have accidents or problems that can potentially cost either more money or potentially people's safety or injury or whatever the case may be. So that's probably why they're doing this. It's not that it can't be done over the air. It's probably more likely that they just want to get it done quicker and make sure everybody's up to date as quickly as possible, as opposed to waiting for the software updates. Because for you Ford owners out there, you know how long it takes for Ford to get some software updates out. It's terrible. So let's hope this goes pretty swimmingly today. And that's pretty much it. So once again, mobile service is coming out to the house to do it, which is great. Had them out here a few times before. We'll see how everything goes, and then we'll update you on the status. So that was the NHTSA recall. Let's see. Safety recall notice 25S65, or the NHTSA recall 25V404. So that is what we were looking at for this recall about the 12 volts, basically locking people out of their cars. So yeah, I'm going to do some more research, and I will update this video when I know more about what exactly this safety recall fixes on the Mach-E. All right, everybody. Well, it's been a few days since we've gotten the software update for the Mustang Mach-E to fix that whole door locking problem. And so I did a little bit of research to kind of familiarize myself a little bit more with some motorcycles sending it on 31 right now. Crazy. But I did a little bit of research to familiarize myself with exactly what was done. And so what I pulled up here, so what it changes is the PCM, which is the Powertrain Control Module, and the Secondary Onboard Diagnostics Control Module, the SOBDMC. So these two modules get updated, and what it does is it stops the process of the DC to DC converter from allowing the 12 volt to charge while you turn off the vehicle. So right now the functionality is when you turn off the vehicle, the DC to DC turns off, and therefore the 12 volt no longer charges up the 12 volt battery. The 12 volt system no longer charges up the 12 volt battery. What this does is this kind of lengthens the amount of time that the 12 volt battery will be charged even after a power down of the vehicle. So the way that this states it here is that the update modifies this behavior to ensure that sufficient 12 volt power remains available to operate the electronic door latches even when the vehicle is off. So that's actually what it's doing, is actually just basically expanding that window for the vehicle to charge the 12 volt battery even after the vehicle powers down. Now, a couple things about this is that there are a lot of vehicles that already charge the 12 volt battery when it dips below a certain voltage level. We know this notoriously for Kias and Hyundais. In fact, we used to have a Hyundai Ioniq first generation that had the blinky light that would light up to let you know, hey, your 12 volt is charging from the high voltage battery. So it would do this when it was idle. This is usually a good thing because it stops your 12 volt from dying, and therefore you can't start up your vehicle. On the other side, it could be a little bit of a weird thing because it could eventually, over time, drain your high voltage battery. So normally there has to be things in place to stop your high voltage battery from draining beyond a certain limit as well, especially if you like leave your car at an airport for a couple weeks, things like that, where you might not necessarily be someplace to easily plug the vehicle in, or jump start the car like if it was in your garage. So a little bit of an interesting fix here. So I don't know how big of a window that becomes, right? So is it that it keeps the 12 volt battery charging until you lock the vehicle? Maybe like when you walk away and lock the vehicle, does that then it kick off the DC to DC? So that stuff I'm not sure 100% about yet, but overall the software update should fix this issue where the doors may not function if your 12 volt battery is below the 8.4 volt threshold, which is what is needed to unlock the doors. Anyway, thought this was kind of interesting. Of course, if you have a 2021 to 2025 Mach-E that is affected by this recall, go get it fixed, and hopefully your local dealership could come out to your house and do that for you. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode today, and we'll see you all on the next one. And remember, welcome to the future. Welcome to Tech Motoring. We'll see you soon.